here's the thing about all my music. I'm a hopeless romantic. I love the idea of being in love. And I've always felt that way. And I learned to feel from the movies. I learned to feel from good books and literature growing up, and poems and Shakespeare. And there was something really like haunting and romantic about writing love songs. And so a lot of any kind of music that has been, aggregated into my life from the outside world, it comes through me in like a really like very syrupy, it's like spoon feeding ice cream too much. Like I love music, but I feel like I've like held back a lot of music from releasing it because I feel like sometimes it's a bit too much. Like it's a bit like lame.
Well, you say lame, but like if it's coming from the heart, they always say whatever you're doing, if you have feeling and you mean it, that's when it's the best, right? Whether it's acting or whether it's music. So if it's coming out in your music, maybe you shouldn't hold back and you should just let it go and go, this is what I'm feeling, this is what I'm writing. And people either gravitate towards it or they won't. So
Yeah. I mean, and growing up, I had an interesting relationship with music. My parents, they introduced me to, music like Bob Dylan and the Grateful Dead and Van Morrison and The Doors, very, very controversial music for a very young person, especially Bob Dylan, which I took to, and I just was obsessed with Bob Dylan growing up. I was very young. I'm still obsessed with him to this day, but um, his music was so interesting to me because, I mean, he absolutely jump started the era of folk, protester music, and
yeah.
at a time when people's voices needed to be heard, he was creating these beautiful lyrical structure, almost like a rap. Now would be a rap
Yeah.
battle. He was doing that, and to me, it was unlike anything I'd ever heard, and anything I've ever heard up till now. He was, putting his heart on his sleeve, and millions of other people's hearts on his sleeve when he sang. So that Elliott Smith, got
Elliott
really obsessed with
Smith.
him growing up. So
Tragic,
yeah,
tragic ending to it.
tragic, but just made the music just so much deeper. And oh man, even
Yeah.
now, you want to have a sunny day and ruin it? Elliott Smith.
Elliott Smith. Go back to your childhood. You said it was a little chaotic, it was dramatic, it was all these things. Do you think did it was it in a good way, or was it both in a good way and a bad way? Did it create some anxiety? Did you feel stressed? Did you have that teenage angst? That
Oh
teen
man,
angst?
angst. My first book was all my teenage angst, all of it. Life of Beauty was all written. I was teen angst for most of my life until I like hit, I think, like 25, and then I was like, oh man, I gotta like figure this out. But yeah, growing up, I mean, I feel like everybody has the same story in a different way, and my angst growing up lent itself to now finding the peace to know that it was okay to feel down and sad sometimes, and it's okay to feel down and sad even now, but to not linger too far into those feelings, and understand that they're just thoughts and feelings,
Mhm.
and you can be a passenger to those moments. And then, like, because nothing, here's the other thing, Michael, like nothing really matters, everything is temporary. And that's the greatest awakening that I had, was in my like my late 20s. I was like, oh wow, like nothing is forever, like everything's temporary. So like to live in the moment and be present in yourself, it helps.